Well, as the Nigerian government braces up for protest on Thursday, analysts have drawn comparisons with other demonstrations across the continent, including in Kenya, Uganda and Sudan. Nigeria's police chief, Kayode Egbetokun, has warned against what he called Kenyan-style protest. The defense spokesperson, Major General Edward Buba, says the context of Nigeria's planned protest is to, quote, shadow the happenings in Kenya.
Now let's bring in ex-Niger Delta militant leader Eshanekpe, Israel. Also with us is Ali Mohammed, who was a witness to the uprisings in Sudan. Thank you, both of you gentlemen, for joining us. Let me start with you, Ali Mohammed. I mean, it would be nice to hear from someone who is a witness, to a similar situation that Nigeria, is trying to avoid. When you hear, that Nigerians want to go on a protest because of hunger and, hardship and what have you. I recall in Sudan, it was a case of, cost of living, the cost of bread went up, the cost of fuel also went up, only for it to snowball into calls for the removal or the ouster of Omar al-Bashir at the time. Walk us through your experience.
First of all, let me greet your viewers or nationwide. The protest actually, as you rightly said, it started as just because of the cost of living, and then escalated, and it started in a city called Adbara. That is 2018. From 2018, nobody actually was seeing or foreseeing what is happening, because a simple protest of bread that people were actually lining up from maybe 3 to 4 hours to get bread, and then that from Adbara it went to Port Sudan, and from Port Sudan it came to Khartoum, and from Khartoum it spread all over the country. But the point here is, because many people talk about yes, they have the right to protest. And I remember some Syrians who actually protested and now came to Sudan to, because of what happened in Syria during this Arab Spring. So they were telling Sudanese, it's just like this moment, tell Sudanese, please don't protest. Don't protest, because you may know the beginning, but you may not know the end. So now, the irony of it, the Sudanese and the Syrians are in Egypt now. Both of them there because of this. So what I'm trying to say here is, you may have the right to protest, but the problem is, the protest will start good, but what actually happens sometimes, the good turn to bad and the bad turn to ugly. So that is exactly what happened to Sudan, because nobody, when the people started to prepare for the protest, nobody knew that this protest would escalate to a full civil war because of bread. Now, that is why we are saying that if you want to protest, it's like, okay, it is your right. Or some people say it's a constitutional right. It's okay. But it's like you have the right to buy a car, and then you have the right to go on a highway. But immediately you exceed the 120, it means that you are endangering your life. You are endangering this thing. Because in the Constitution will tell you have the right, but it's not following you to the street to tell you your right ends here. So exactly that is why something that is started as a protest, cost of living, and now escalated to a war. That people now, the lesson here is, people now, they lost the bakery itself, the bread. So they wish that is stopped at that time. So,
well, I think that there's always been that argument between freedom and determinism, yes. And quite an interesting perspective, but a very sad one that leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Let's bring in Eshanekpe, Israel. Israel, this is something that a lot of people have been talking about, and here we are, just a few hours to D-Day. What's the feeling from the Niger Delta, where you are from at the moment, concerning this protest?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Right, I'm here to to speak for the 30,000 ex-agitators under the leadership of Administrator of Presidential Amnesty Program, Dr. Dennis Otwaro. I'm here again to speak for the Niger Delta people and also to speak for myself. I want to state here, with the Niger Delta, with the ex-agitators, we are not part of this protest because we don't see any reason of protest. The government of Asiwaju, we are 100% support of this government. This Asiwaju presidency is a slot of the South, and that slot is 8 years. So there is hardship, we know, and Nigerians have a right to protest. Right to protest, yes, we know, but for the past experience we had during the SARS protest, we have not even recovered for that protest. So we don't want that kind of thing to happen. That was why our GOC 001 of the Niger Delta region, High Chief Government Ekpemupolo, aka Topolo, have given directive to all ex-agitators, to all the youth of the Niger Delta, that look, this government is not government that will protest against, because it's just 1 year. 1 year and 2 months. And what this man, President Buhari, is doing is commendable to us, Niger Delta. So anybody that feel or certify this to Buhari's, to Tinubu's performance, I think that person is wish to protest. It should protest to state government house, you know, because there's allocation going to the government on a monthly basis. Grants, palliative is going to them. So what are they doing with those money? They should give account of it. They should carry the money to the grassroots. The money is all reaching the grassroots. So everybody will be shouting of Mr. President. It's not only Tinubu is doing this work.
Eshanekpe,
yes.
Israel, well, good thing. Well, on the lighter side, good thing you were able to quickly correct yourself. That is President Tinubu, not President Buhari. But again, on one hand, you're not for the protests. On the other hand, you're also saying that truly this does not get to the grassroots. And your tone changed. It shows the anger because it hasn't gotten to the grassroots. We'll come back to you, but let's bring in Ali here. Ali, you know, protests are usually spontaneous, as we saw in Sudan. But in Nigeria, this seemed a planned protest. What's the difference between a spontaneous protest, which you have observed in Sudan, and one that is planned, as we are about to witness in Nigeria?
You see the difference, or first of all, we have to identify the area, the common areas between Sudan and Nigeria. We know there are two different states, they are sovereign states, but there are so many similarities between the two. You know, first of all, you have let's talk about the tribal differences. You know, here you have so many different tribes, and there you have so many different tribes, and but the similarity is to bring you even closer to that. You have like 30% of the Sudanese population are Nigerian.
30%?
30%, almost 30%.
Of the Sudanese
population.
As we speak?
Yes, as we speak.
Are Nigerians.
They are Nigerian. You know,
Amazing.
I told you this, they immigrated and all
history.
this. So now, the issue now, you have almost the similarity again in so many areas. You know, the way most of the Sudanese think in terms of the perspective of the way they perceive the hardship. Here too is the same thing. People, you know, when there is a hardship, people seem to protest. You know, they reject that. But you have to do it with understanding. You know, why we have to do it with understanding? Because anything that you take it out of understanding, that actually we dialogue, through the dialogue between the people or the population with the government, you always have that kind of problem. Because, you know, so you start something and then escalates.
Did you think the Sudan crisis was hijacked? The protest then?
Yes, it was hijacked. As I said, because, you know, one thing that people should know, the youths normally they agitate and they have a genuine cause to agitate. But you start a peaceful protest. That peaceful protest, let's say the lifespan is 500 meters. From 500 meters, you have people who are planning to take it. It will not even reach 1 kilometer. They start to try to hijack it. Yeah. And then the most important thing that people should know, that while you have genuine agenda, some people too, they have their own agenda, dubious agenda that they actually want to that is the fear. Because if, you know, we have it so good, now this experience of Sudan, it would have been a successful one. But always there are people who are planning. You know, there are, you know, you have people who they have maybe political differences. You have people who actually are planning. Some people even they want to settle some personal problems. Right. So that is the problem. You know,
so it could have political undertones, just like government and some security, you know, authorities have been saying. Let me bring it very quickly back to Eshanekpe, Israel. I mean, you're distancing yourself from the planned protest. Is it a reflection of the, you know, opinion of the generality of the people of the Niger Delta?
Yes. Yes, it's a general opinion because protest, we will not protest. We agree that we will not protest. And maybe by tomorrow, if you see anybody that is protesting from the Niger Delta, you know that those people, they are non-indigenous of the region, because there's no reason. We don't see any reason to protest against Tinubu's government, because the government is just 1 year and 2 months. It's too early to protest. And the man is working. He's not sleeping. He's just one man like you and I. He's not sleeping. The man is working. So this protest is targeted, you know, to put down this Tinubu's government down. And we will not take it. We Niger Delta will not take it. We will resist anybody that want to put this government down. They can't put this government down. This government have come to stay. It's going to change Nigeria. So we know where Nigeria was, where this man came in. So the man is actually working, and we are convinced we are not going to protest against Tinubu's government. The government is doing very perfectly well. So let's remove settlement from this, the whole thing they are trying to do. Because the last protest, we see what happened in this NSAS. We do not even see end bad governor. And this is the worst government so far. Nobody does that from the north. So nobody does that from the south, from the east. So why is it now that Tinubu has come? Certain presidents have come, then they now said end bad government. What is bad in this government? We know there's hardship. Hardship have been there for decades. It's not today. It's not today. All over the world, not only Nigeria, have this hardship. And the man is working. Just see what this man is doing. We need to commend this president. He's actually working. That is our stand.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank you for your time, Eshanekpe, Israel. I think the country has heard you. Thank you for coming on Newsnight, Ali Mohammed. Quite an insight there from the Sudan example. Thank you for your time.